So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. iPhone 14 versus iPhone 15 speed test. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now we are looking at the Apple A15 Bionic on the left, Apple A16 on the right. So basically the 14 versus the 14 Pro? No, it's the 15, but the 15 does contain the same chipset we found in the iPhone 14 Pro, and I think the 14 just boot up quicker. That was strange, just booted up faster. But you can see that notch goes to a dynamic island, which I feel like is a modern version of the notch. And then you can see on the back, pretty big differences with that glass versus that texture. Which texture do you prefer? Do you like the glass or do you like this feel on the back? Let me know down below in the comments. Okay, so both iPhones are running 17.1.1. Everything is closed out for both phones. There's not really much to discuss in the way of general performance because it's essentially identical, simply because they both rock the same 60 Hertz. Apple did not go to a 90 Hertz or a 120 Hertz for the base 15. So you can see everything closed out. Let's begin with calendar. And you could see pretty much the same there. We'll go into clock and we'll go to alarms, world clock, stopwatch, set up out of there. Even the animation's the same. We'll go into calculator. Basically the same. We'll go into weather here, and the 15 a little bit faster on the right. Let's go into App Store, and you'll see identical once again. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is to kind of talk about the value of the iPhone 14. Don't overlook this phone. Just because it looks like, you know, the iPhone 13, it's still going to be a good option. And here's why: because the iPhone 13 getting older, you basically have a slightly better 13 with the iPhone 14. So now that the 14s are cheaper, it's a good option if you want to save more money and you're not really fond of Dynamic Island, or you just don't want to pay that price of the iPhone 15. You can see same performance there. And besides having a Dynamic Island, you can see a little faster on the right, a little bit faster chip. The real issue, or the real big update, I think, if you want to go to the iPhone 15, is going to be the improved zoom and camera. That is the real jump, I think, for going to a 15. Let's go into eBay here. Missed that one. Let me do that again. Let's go on eBay, 3, 2, go. And that's because the phone was jiggling off to the right. That's faster on the right. The real jump is going to be that camera. Sure is. Let's go into Groupon. I'll tell you, Groupon is going to be faster on the left. So you can see that, you know, I wish that we would have more like speed enhancements in newer phones, like maybe like a faster animation on the next iOS. So the last version, it's just a little bit more improved. So it makes it kind of worth it to jump. The real thing that would have been really worth it is if Apple went to 90 Hertz or 120 Hertz. Because in area of actual phone, it feels like I'm getting the same phone once again. Let me head up out of there. I'm just got to be real with you. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not an upgrade. We have Dynamic Island, which is a new experience and a better zoom, but at the same time, it's like the same phone at the core. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2. And I don't know how many years we're going to say this, but maybe next year when we go to a 6.3 inch, hopefully they go to a 6.3 inch phone, bring 120 or 90 or ProMotion, and then we have some substantial upgrades for the base models. But for now, you could actually get a 14, save yourself some money, and have a near same experience, but you're going to have to deal with 5 times zoom versus 10 times. So if you like zoom, just pay that extra and get the iPhone 15. Subway Surfer is not a big deal difference. Let's go into Temple Run 2. And let's see how this performs for the 15 and the 14. And you'll see, bang, that is on the right. So there is a potential for a little bit better, faster performance on the newer phone, especially in the area of games. Let's go ahead and check out PUBG now. 3, 2, go. See which one can get here first. I also noticed that the iPhone 15 tends to get a little warmer, even though it has a faster CPU, just slightly warmer than the iPhone 14, even though the 14 is glass. It just tends to heat up a little bit. We'll go over here. It's not like anything crazy, but I just noticed that. So the 15 faster in PUBG. That's a pretty good margin. I would say that, you know, I have noticed that the gaming is a little bit quicker, for sure. Hit guest here. Yeah, that one's taken a while. So that one took quite a substantially a longer time than the iPhone 15 to get there. We're getting a lot of pop-ups. But overall, you know, the gaming department, I found that the 15 is definitely a little bit better. You'll see the CPU is clocked only like 0.2 gigahertz higher, and we have the same 6 gigs RAM. I mean, it's like the same thing, but we do have a 16 Bionic versus a 15 Bionic. That's a jump. We'll go into 3D Mark. Although with these CPUs only being 10, 20, 25% faster, it's like M2 Pro versus M3 or M2 versus M3. Yeah, we could talk about it on a spec sheet, but the actual Mac user is probably not going to take the full advantage of that. And if they are, they're probably just going to go to the M3 Max or whatever, fastest chip. We'll go into iMovie, and you'll see iMovie faster for, surprisingly, the 14. That could be due to optimization. If we go to editing, you'll see both of them will be buttery smooth through the timeline. No major issues whatsoever. So these phones, man, they're like the same exact thing on the day-to-day is what I'm seeing here. But the 15 just has that much of a jump on the 14 when it comes to the games and where you really need to push it. But it's literally like what it shows in Geekbench. It's that much. Look at the clock speed difference. It's like that much. It's very, very little. So the 15 is finished first, which is expected. 2560 on the single core, 6339 on the multi-core. So a pretty substantial, well, I wouldn't say substantial, but near 1,000-point jump on the multi-core score. So just like with the Pro models, it's the same story. If you're going to push the phone, you know, with video editing or games, you will get sustained performance a little bit better for the 15. On the single core, there's 300 points or so. It's not even 300 full points. It's basically virtually nothing in terms of day-to-day regular performance. And that's why I say that if Apple went to 90 hertz or 120 hertz, there would be actually something to say, well, in the day-to-day, it feels smoother because we have a 90 hertz now. But no, 60 hertz makes this just a dynamic island 14 on the front when it comes to just day-to-day performance. Or you could say a dynamic island 60 hertz 14 Pro. So if you want promotion and you want the A16 Bionic that's on here, just get the 14 Pro. It's the same size, has dynamic island, and it's smoother than this phone and has more zoom than the 15. Maybe we'll do a comparison, iPhone 15 versus 14 Pro, and break down the differences. And in the 3D Mark test, you'll see we have an overall score of 3035 for the 15, done far faster. Average frame rates around that 18.2 FPS. It is quite warm, but we're still waiting on the iPhone 14 over there. Battery didn't drop at all, and we're scoring only better than 72% of other devices. So the 15 is nowhere near the fastest phone on the market today. Not at all. And so we should be just about done here with the iPhone 14, and you'll see, ooh, this one's kind of hot here as well. You'll see 16.2 FPS, so a 2 FPS difference, and on the overall score, 2713. This score is only better than 64% of other devices. So again, nowhere near the fastest phone on the market when it comes to the gaming department either. But you'll see you'll get a boost in graphical performance. But again, even in the gaming area with the 90 hertz or 120, the actual games will look smoother and be more enjoyable as well. So Apple really needs to get on board with that. That's just my personal take. Even if you're not into tech specs and all that, the average consumer would still feel this. They'll feel how smooth the upgrade feels more, say, than from the 14 to the 15. So the last thing I want to do here is go ahead and rock a camera launch. So let's just go ahead and do that and see which one can do that quicker. So I'll go ahead and close out the camera since we already had it open right there. And we had it open right here. So we'll see which one's faster. Now the 15 does not have a action button. That's only for the 15 Pro. So 3, 2, and go. And you'll see essentially the same. 3, 2, go. Faster on the left. But I really, really do like how the 15 does have the 2x zoom. It makes this phone definitely a better option in camera. It's at the shutter, but no real big jumps in actual quality. It's not massive. The 48 megapixel is pretty big if you're into pro stuff, but most people that buy these base phones don't use them like that. So For me, this change in performance is virtually non-existent after checking out this speed test here, and this is the first time I've done it myself as well. There's non-existent real major jumps here in performance. The only real thing that the 15 is worth it is that it's going to give you another year or two of updates, probably like a year, maybe two of an extra update. So thumbs up if you found the video helpful, entertaining, informing, enjoying, and I will catch you all in the next episode. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.